Well, we've been talking a lot about stable coins. A lot of that has been through the lens of the United States, but a new Canadian dollar stablecoin is launching today. And interestingly, it has backing from some well-known Canadian players in a number of industries, from Shopify to Wealthsimple, and one of the country's leading banks, National Bank. Didier Lavallee is the CEO of Tetra Trust, which is behind this new Canadian dollar stablecoin, and he joins us here in studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Thanks for having us.
This has been a sort of a growing dialogue, stablecoins, and the role they can possibly play, not just in the world of currencies, but in commerce as well. And we've heard a lot about Shopify, obviously, embracing stablecoins. What was how did this all come together, basically?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Canadian framework today, there's a lot of companies that are essentially trying to issue, but they're doing so via the CSA securities framework. We believe that framework is suboptimal, mostly because it means that the stablecoins is security and restricts the use cases, including payments, remittances, et cetera. So we essentially, with our license, are able to issue a stable coin that could be used as a payment rail tool. And we're quite excited about this. So it's a novel approach. It's a different approach.
And so what is your hope with respect to how this is used? Because I think even just the concept of stable coins is still a new one for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, 1.25 Canadians are actually doing remittances globally right now. So there's quite a large number of that happening already. But our first use cases will be B2B mostly, right? The group of companies that we're seeing today that are coming together are essentially going to use this to do a proof of concept and to demonstrate that there is demand for that. That's going to help with settlement costs and settlement times as well.
Interesting. So I guess stablecoins, if I think about them within kind of the traditional crypto world, you know, if people are spending more time interacting with cryptocurrencies, different cryptocurrencies, the stablecoin sometimes is sort of the glue in the middle of all of that. Mm-hmm. Is it the same thing with commerce as well? I mean, if you're sort of buying or selling, increasingly using digital payments, that it plays the same role in an e-commerce world as it would, say, on a crypto trading platform?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it really facilitates the use cases of payments. It makes them quicker, cheaper, and then also programmatic, right? Which means that you can essentially schedule payments and make them happen, organically.
And so just in the case of Shopify, which, I mentioned they've been pretty vocal about, wanting to embrace more stable coins. What is it about a Canadian dollar stable coin that sort of makes it unique in that growing world, do you think?
Yeah, I think if you look at the statistics, the Canadian dollars still use about 5% of global foreign exchange transactions, right? So there is demand for essentially a Canadian dollar stablecoin out there. And it's offering, essentially users on, let's say, a Shopify, that checkout, the capacity to use a Canadian dollar stablecoin as opposed to USD, which has really been dominating the space so far.
And then it was interesting to see National Bank backing this announcement. I don't think we've seen any of the big six banks sort of do anything similar yet. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so how did that come about, getting National Bank involved?
I think if you look at, what's happening again on the rest of the G7 countries, including the US, there's a lot of excitement in the space right now. I think Canada, generally speaking, specifically our larger financial institutions, have been somewhat behind on the space. And I think this is just a strong signal that they're paying attention. They want to get involved.
Okay, and so with the launch and with these partners, and it sounds like they're all hoping to get some good learnings out of this, what do you sort of see the next 3 to 6 months looking like in terms of adoption or usage? How's that going to all play out?
Yeah, so we've been talking a lot with the regulatory players in Canada, including the government, right? So we're going to continue our education around this. We're going to run essentially the proof of concept. We're going to build the tool and take it out to market and start, playing around with it within a, I would say a sandbox environment so everybody can learn. I think over the next 3 to 6 months, we'd like to be live in market.
And does it, even though Canada is in a different place, let's say, than the United States, do you think the growing conversation around stablecoins on Wall Street has helped you to even get to this point today? I mean, it's not just adoption of stablecoins. There are companies that are tied to that industry that have gone public this year, to a lot of excitement and fanfare as well.
Yeah, I would say absolutely, right? I think the space has been validated both by the enthusiasm around it, but also some of the dynamics of the product and how it's just more efficient and cheaper.
All right, Didier, thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Didier Lavallee joining us, CEO of